So 2 days ago I ran my longest distance ever, a hair over 5 miles. And today I ran my fastest 5K time, which I don't really want to share because it's really not fast or anything, but it's a big deal for me, so I guess I'll share it. It was 36:08. So, you know, it's, again, not a fast time, but it's my time. And to me, like, I've been on and off running for 3 years, and this is the first time I feel like I've made significant progress, and I pretty much just fell out of it and gave up a couple times. So I think what's actually relevant about this is my persistence, and my desire to come back to it. And I really think that's something that's kind of helped me achieve some level of success in poker as well. And maybe even in vlogging too, because I was pretty terrible at that when I started as well.
This is already a disaster.
And I feel like I've hit some complacency in the vlog, and that's a big part of wanting to reignite it, because I have recognized that, and I kind of want to take things to the next level, get my equivalent best 5K time, maybe make my best vlog, I guess. And it's kind of with that spirit that I want to start playing some 510 as well. So I haven't really sought out larger stakes than 2-5 for a long time. I've played, you know, a handful of 510 sessions, but not a lot. 510 is starting to run at Maryland Live fairly regularly now. It seems like weekly. And I'm actually on my way to Portland today to go play 510 on the Poker Guys PokerTime recorded game. So I think that I'm gonna keep kind of trying to update with the running stuff on here just a little. And I'm also going to start playing some 510s. So you heard it here first. I'm gonna be in the games. Hopefully I don't get crushed tonight. Well, technically tomorrow, but you'll see it today. So, all right, let's go. Well, I scared them.
I made them weird. They were just like doing their own thing until I said, "Hi, baby," and then they looked at me. Did you show the deer?
No. It's game day. I am pretty excited, but first gotta go for a run, take care of a few School of Cards stuff, and hopefully watch a little poker time, just get a little info on the players we'll be playing against. We got the lineup now. Seems like a decent one. A couple players I played with before last year. If you wanna check that out, info up above. But a lot of players I don't know, so it'd be nice to watch at least a few hands that they've played and see if I can figure out what the hell to do. But first we gotta run. So I came in at night and kind of didn't realize how insane the backdrop of Portland is. I mean, I don't even think you can see that, can you? Let's turn around. I mean, that just doesn't do it justice. That's incredible.
I got a bunch of those.
All right, so we got 2, 25, 3,000, 33,
Perfect.
35.
Thank you.
All right, good luck with it.
How are you?
How you doing?
What's up, man? You back out here?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah, just out here for this, man.
Just for this again, okay.
Yeah. They got me. Great service here. Oh no!
This is your box. This one's gonna be
right.
empty and dead. I wanted to make sure no one else would think this was theirs. So look, I'm gonna clean it up. There you
Very
go.
kind.
There you go.
You can stop helping whenever.
Okay, good.
You can stop.
So we're getting ready to play PokerTime 510. You can see them in the background over here. It's my second time playing on the show. You can check it out above. Let's go.
There he is.
There is Matt Vaughan, famed vlogger. He has played before on the show about a year ago.
Yep. Here's Matt Vaughan.
Unless you want to bluff him off of Jax.
Matt Vaughan, known for his vlogs and his haircuts.
And the extra A in his name that's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, talk about irrelevant. So apparently Matt Vaughan does not just poker vlogs, but also he brings his camera to when he gets a haircut to the barber, so he can really talk everyone through his decision making on that as well. Like, and you can see it's paying off. All the comments in the YouTubers probably.
I'm sure Matt Vaughan appreciates you talking over him talking on PokerTime to say that.
I mean, how many haircut vloggers are there? There's not very many. He's one of the best. He's not the best, to be fair, but he's one of the better ones.
Welcome back to the vlog. If you are new to this channel, my name is Matt Vaughan. Welcome, and consider subscribing if you like this video. Also, thumbs up this video. Hit that little button down below, helps with the algorithm, and leave me a comment letting me know what's going on with you in poker this week. I would love to hear about it, but also it's gonna help this video smash all previous Matt Vaughan videos. Moving on into this particular content though, I spent a little time in Portland recently. I went there to play on the Poker Guys PokerTime 510 no limit game. I mentioned wanting to play some more 510, and I am trying to stick to that. It's a little bit hard exactly where I live without going to MGM National Harbor, but I found this opportunity to do so and was excited to do it, especially with all the whole cards basically revealed. Now, if you go and watch their recorded version, and I think you actually should, because those guys are hilarious. They talk about a lot more than just my haircut as well. But if you watch it, you'll notice that I play almost no hands in the very first hour of the session. So I just wanted to call that out, and I'm not showing every hand here, so you're not going to see all the 8-3 offsuits that I got. But basically, I got a little bit of a little crap from them for how tight I was playing at the table, more so than in the commentary. But if they refer to that, it's because I really got almost nothing. But moving right along, I've only played with like one of these players before. I didn't really have a whole lot of history with them, and a lot of these guys have history with each other, so it's an interesting dynamic to step into. Let's just go ahead and get on into these hands.
Queen nine of spades. All right, he's going to open this one.
Okay. He's just talking slowly enough that he give himself a chance to pick up a hand.
Blake out of the small blind, calling queen eight off.
Yeah.
The wheels might be falling off.
Yeah, possibly. And it's a queen.
But there's also an ace, which will probably save Blake from too much pain.
Yeah, maybe
There's also a lot of chops in the future.
Might be a one street only kind of a thing.
Out ace queen 4, and even though it's two-tone, because we only have second pair here, I think we have a pretty clear check behind when these players checked us. We go ahead and go to the turn. Now,
this is certainly the type of hand that should check this board as Matt Vaughan. Makes sense.
Yeah, Blake's gonna bet. He does have the best hand a fair amount.
Yeah, this is a lot of protection.
Stewart can, of course, have him beat in all sorts of ways.
Matt could also, but it's unlikely.
Matt has some queens, pocket kings, some aces, a few other things. But right now, Blake can reasonably think he's ahead some of the time.
Another ace on the river.
He has the queen of diamonds in his hand.
Both of these players are a little more confident with their hand now.
ends up actually leading, which is a little bit odd. But the fact that he does it, and we have this exact holding, there's really no reason to do anything but call here. We just won't really get a lot of value from worse by raising. We beat a ton of his range, particularly draws, and I just stick in the call. The river is the ace of diamonds, which is an interesting card because a lot of those draws come in. However, Blake now just checks. I think when we specifically have queen 9, We have a very clear check back. But if I had a hand as good as maybe king, queen, I would consider betting here to try to get value from a worse queen. As played, I didn't really expect my hand to be good that often if he specifically had a showdown hand. But if he just has a give-up draw that missed, then we're going to win. And there's really no reason to bet. So I check it back, and he shows us like the one queen that we could potentially beat here.
Goes check, check, and yeah, only one street. Look at Matt Vaughn's face.
You don't expect to pip the guy when you have queen 9, but
It's pretty amazing. You see Matt's face even when it went check, check. He sort of couldn't believe he got to win.
I think Blake announced a queen, so
Yeah.
Matt's like, "Oh, I lose all the time."
Yep.
Turns out, nope.
Just some of the time, Matt. Matt, you're wrong again, Matt. Why don't you vlog about that?
Yeah, you crap knuckle.
Wow.
Is that a thing that people say?
Only in certain parts of Baltimore, which is where he's from.
That's true. It is.
So it's perfect. He
So
knows what you
he'll
mean.
truly get it and internalize how much I mean it.
Yeah, maybe he can, write
Learn-
about it or
learn
something.
from this.
That would be good too, but it's unlikely.
All right, the Rooster's getting involved. He's been very tight so far.
Matt Vaughan, of course, did some commentary with us recently.
Yeah, he was in one of the PokerTime episodes. Actually, the one featuring our biggest pot ever.
Yeah.
With Timmer against Wonka.
The $9,000 pot, full house against full house.
Although he could get there.
Oh, Vaughn's going to play back against DM. Oh, no, he's
Well.
not. He said only because you're doing 100% my big ones. I thought that meant he was raising.
All right, so in this hand, there's a little bit of history so far at the table that bears mentioning. The player who is the opponent, DM5, has opened literally every single one of my big blinds, and he is playing like a maniac. He's probably playing like 60, maybe 70% of hands, most of them as raises. And even though the big blind is a place you can defend wide from, normally I would not defend 10-7 offsuit. It'd be a pretty clear fold for me against his open from his position. But against this particular player, I'm just going to call and try to get involved. It is a stream game after all, and I want to actually play some hands.
Right, but only because, yeah. Nothing for nobody.
Check,
If I
check.
doesn't continue, and both players have a spade.
That's why I would rather fly the biggest than drive the mountain.
Vaughn looks like he's just going to bet 1/3 pot here.
Flop comes out ace, ace, 5. I'm just giving up. There's really no reason for me to get involved here. I do technically have a backdoor spade draw, but there's nothing I can really do. 10 high, this is a hand where we're just going to have to give up a lot. It's fine. But he checks back, and the turn is the deuce of spades. So we end up picking up a 10 high flush draw. But more than that, I don't think he's really going to check an ace on this flop almost ever. Possibly pocket 5, possibly ace 5, but not really any other ace. So his range is much more like pocket pair heavy, showdown heavy with like a king high, queen high type hand, and hands of that nature. I also don't think he's really going to have a spade draw almost ever because he'll just bet those on the flop too. So when this card comes, I think I can start setting up a 2-barrel for turn and river to get him off of a lot of the weaker parts of his range. So that's what I do. I start with a small bet, planning to bet a bit bigger on the river. The river, just keeps in with the plan of the 6 of diamonds here. It's a total brick. If it was something like another spade, I might slow down and check, possibly bet really small to try to get value. But on this card, I'm just going to stick with the plan, put in a reasonable sized bet to try to get him off of hands like king high and some of his smaller pocket pairs, and just end up getting it through.
Probably going to work. I don't see. Yep.
Yeah.
And that is the last hand.
Yep. Matt Vaughan is going to show the bluff. We are back for the second episode of this session of Poker Time. That is famous poker vlogger Matt Vaughan. I don't know, famous, but he's a poker vlogger.
I mean, he's more famous than most of you. So
Most
all
of you.
the audience.
Oh, that's a weird. I thought you were just talking to me, and we said most of you. It was throwing me off. I was like, is that like all the microbes in me? It's more famous than most of them, but I have some very famous microbes also.
Your left pinky
My-
is quite notable.
Thank you.
It's the one you
This-
accidentally touched Queen Elizabeth with in 1987.
Has 14,000 Twitter followers. My left pinky. Hey, it's the rooster. Here comes the rooster.
He didn't say it.
He'll say it. Just give him a chance.
Okay. I'll say it for him in the meantime. Hey, the Battle of Ace Jacks.
Matt Vaughan has got an interesting decision here. He could very reasonably call this. Looks like he's going to go for the 3-bet.
Yeah, I think that's probably the
Just gonna
better
squeeze.
decision.
Can fold out. Well, I don't really know what better hands he can fold out.
I don't know if he can, but it makes it a lot easier to play post flop
Yeah.
and gives him a lot more wins.
Yep. He just folded out at a chop, and it turns out he's just going to take it down. That is one of the really nice things about this hand. And if he gets one caller, he gets to play a bloated pot in position, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, when he gets re-raised, he cries and folds quickly.
What do you think's in his arm pocket? That little zipper pocket on the arm.
Yeah, no, I see it. It's clearly s'mores.
I was thinking it could be gummy bears, or maybe just a picture of a gummy bear.
I saw someone tweet actually about gummy bears, and he said if gummy bears and gummy worms are to scale, it's the gummy world is a terrifying place.
Yeah, the worms would be really big. That's
That is correct.
This is a DM5 style open under the gun. It seems loose. It's not loose at all for DM5. He would open a lot worse hands.
Vaughan, coming off of a 3-bet in the last hand, picks up aces this time against the stickiest player, I would say, at the table.
Yeah, but
Blake is
DM5
pretty
knows
sticky, too.
this hand is a trouble hand in this situation, I think. I imagine he'll find a fold.
Let's see. He does like to call a lot.
Oh, man. That's just not a very good call.
DM5 calls with like way worse hands for almost this much money all the time.
But situationally, this is just a very bad hand to have.
Sure. Well, he picks up a gutter to go with his overs.
This is the type of board that he might raise if Matt Vaughan continues.
So in this next hand, we see DM5 open from under the gun, and I get to 3-bet pocket aces. Now, they did note here in the commentary, this is my second 3-bet basically in a row. I had ace-jack the previous hand in 3-bet, and everybody just folded, so this looks a little bit more suspicious than normal, but that really doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. I'm just going to be 3-betting this hand for value regardless, particularly against a player like this, who's probably going to continue too wide and just give me a fair bit of action. So the flop ends up coming down 8-7-6, and it's not a board that's particularly advantageous for me. Now, DM5 probably continues pretty wide against 3-bets, so normally in a 3-bet pot, I might feel like this board isn't that dangerous, it's not that advantageous for the caller, but because he's going to call so many of the suited hands, so many of the connected hands, I think it is actually not a great board for us, really. Now, that being said, I do have the ace of hearts in hand, so I have some backdoor potential, but I think that this is a pretty good candidate to check and just try to play a little bit of a smaller pot with. So when he checks, I do just go ahead and check it back, and we go ahead and go to the king of hearts on the turn.
Let's see if Matt Vaughan does continue. DM5's hand is a little bit defined because he called the 3-bet, but DM5 less so than most. And I like this check back by
I think this
Matt.
is a good board-based check back. That's a great card for Matt Vaughan. DM5 could have hit a king, first of all, and of course, Matt picks up the nut flush draw.
Not a great card for DM5 here, although he is going to take a shot with his
I don't know
gutter.
if this is a shot-taken card here. Matt Vaughan has a lot of ace-king in his range that checks back the flop.
He doesn't have almost any flushes in his range, though. And
That's
so
good.
That's a reason for DM5 to take a shot here. Turns out Matt does have the ace of hearts in his hand, but very rarely is he going to have ace-x of hearts here since he didn't bet the flop. Matt has an easy call, of course.
Now, DM5 goes ahead and bets, which is a little bit surprising because this is a card that would generally be considered better for me. I should generally have a fair bit of ace-king. He should probably have none. He may have some king-queen, king-jack type holdings, but not really ace-king ever. Never pocket kings. So when he leads here, and specifically on a heart, like, I'm not really that worried about being beat. I think that he's going to have plenty of just random bluffs, plenty of worse hands even. He can have king, queen, king, jack again, and bet those for value. So I think we just have a very clear call. I don't really see much point in raising. We often get him off of the worst hands by raising, and there's no reason to do that with this holding. So I go ahead and put in the call, and we go heads up now to the river.
If the deuce of spades comes on the river and DM5 bets again, Matt's going to have an interesting decision between calling and raising. Ooh, instead DM5 somehow has the best hand. This is absurd.
It is a crazy 3-outer. Just a crazy 3-outer to come. Well, Matt, I don't think it was going to be really hard for you to find a way to win this pot, at least. That's the good news.
It's possible he could win with a raise, but I don't think he's going to go for that.
I don't know why he would.
This board texture.
He's beating king X. He's beating king queen and things like that.
Do you think DM5 is betting king queen?
Oh, not on this board. You're right. Not on this board.
The river is not a great card for me. It is the 9 of diamonds. So any 10, any 5 makes a straight. Now, I don't think he necessarily has to have a lot of 10x, but he's going to have probably more 10x here than most players, which definitely sucks. Hard to really put him on a lot of 5x holdings besides maybe like ace-5 suited, maybe something like pocket 5s. But besides that, it's hard to really give him a lot of 5x hands. Now, on top of 10x, he's going to have like a lot of missed everything, a lot of like one pair hands. I also didn't think he would necessarily bet 2 pair for value here because I can have pocket 10s. I can potentially have sets as well. So I felt like he might slow down and kind of just like check with a lot of his 2 pair holdings and sets. And meanwhile, bet straights and flushes. So when he bets again, and we're getting a pretty decent price against a player who is just very capable of firing bluffs out there. Again, the player history is definitely kind of playing in here. And blocking the nut flush with the ace of hearts, I felt like our hand was a little bit too good to let go. Against other players, maybe I find it, maybe they don't have enough bluffs in this spot, but against this player, I just couldn't do it. Ended up putting in the call and unfortunately lose to that gutter that got there on the river. So not the greatest start on PokerTime here, but do lose that pot and move forward to the next hand.
DM5 is really representing a straight or better here when he bets again.
He could have a set, I suppose.
I guess. I don't expect Matt to raise, but you're right. He could raise. Could take a shot.
It wouldn't be a great story because of the flop check.
Exactly.
He decides to call because of the opponent, I think. DM5 being a guy who has a lot of moves.
Oh, and Matt cannot help but show the aces.
Oh,
A little bit of tilt there, eh, Matt?
spiteful, bitter vlogger.
Yeah.
That is
There
a
he is.
smile of sadness. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Sadness.
You can put all the makeup you want on that, Matt. We see the pain. Turns out BMW Blank's opening king 6 suited
Yeah.
with such a short stack. Here's another great squeeze spot where Matt Vaughan may decide ace jack is just good enough
He
to
might.
get in, especially against BMW Blake. I don't know how much he knows about Blake's ranges here, though.
If Blake has a reload in his pocket, I don't see why he's not reloading if he's going to open hands like this.
Yeah.
You need to be deeper if you're going to... I mean, it's hard to justify opening king 6 plus 1, but you certainly need to be deeper to do it.
You see how Matt decides to size this here? So he's completely committed
Yep.
to BMW's shove, and it's just not an issue for him.
He's given
at all.
himself easy folds against all other players who, if they, for some reason, decide to 4-bet. And look at this. DM5 going to call
Wow.
with the deuces.
By the way, Matt also sized in such a way that if Blake decided to go all in, Matt keeps the action open to re-raise. He sized it exactly so he could re-raise it, which is kind of great.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is good.
Look at this, and now Dan, of course, feels like he has to call also.
Yeah. And now we got some set minors. And Timmer might
Timmer should
get
fold.
weird. I think you should fold, yeah.
He's only got 880 in front of him. He
Probably should have
definitely
folded in the first place,
Yeah.
but,
All right,
it's
well,
good to not get the rest in.
if Matt can avoid a deuce or a 5, he's probably going to win on the flop.
In this next hand, we see an open to 35, several calls, and I'm in the big blind with ace-jack offsuit. Definitely seems like a good candidate to 3-bet squeeze here, so that's what I do. I make it 215 and expect to usually shed everybody. But we end up getting called by both DM5 and Digital Dan with pocket pairs. So kind of a weird spot, but when the board comes out Queen 8-8, it's a very good moment for us to just try to c-bet bluff. Definitely just playing to take it down here or, possibly double barrel if I only get one caller.
His opponents could have a queen.
Yep.
That's really...
They don't have too many 8s.
They might call once with 9s or 10s. He blocks jacks.
He has the jack of clubs in his hand that blocks a bunch of club draws. That's good, too. I don't see how Matt doesn't take a shot.
I think it's probably like a $300 shot, something like that. Might even be going smaller, it looks like, which I don't mind on this driver board.
260.
260, I think, is the number.
Fold.
And I don't see how these guys can continue. I guess Digital Dan can beat Ace King.
And hands
Some
like
other-
Ace Jack.
And some other Ace
He might
Ace X
might
hands.
be recognizing the situation pre-flop with Blake being so short and Matt
Yeah.
trying to isolate him.
Heads up.
And he makes the call.
Okay, well, he's in position, so he gets to see what Matt does on the turn.
He still actually has less equity than Matt. Now he has more.
Digital Dan does end up calling with pocket 5s. A little bit surprising, but I think that when he does call on this board, he's going to have so many holdings that are one pair. Queen X, yes, but often some of the weaker ones only. Maybe not ace queen ever. And lots of like 10s, 9s, maybe 7s. I didn't really think he would have 6s and 5s, although I was wrong. So I don't think the turn is really a bad card for us. And I think that we can put a ton of pressure on him by continuing here.
It's a good card, although any 6, any queen, any ace, any jack will do it for Matt.
I think Matt needs to continue here because Dan could easily have a hand like 9s or 10s. I might not put him on a hand of pocket pair under the 8, but I think he has a lot of hands that he has to fold if Matt continues.
Honestly, if Digital Dan has a queen, it's a lot of pressure too if Matt continues.
If he has king queen, it's tough, but I think Dan's going to find a call. It might have to be a triple barrel to get him off a hand like king queen.
And look, Matt using his time here, that's interesting. I would guess he's going to barrel when he uses his time.
He's actually just trying to build up the confidence to eat the sour candy.
And here he is reaching. It's going to be really tough for Dan now.
It's going to be really hard for him to call, especially when I can really threaten a river jam. And I can potentially still follow through on a river jam too if he calls and I feel like he may fold the queen to a third barrel. So I do decide to continue the aggression, put in another bet.
Looks like he's going kind of small again.
485.
485.
Yep.
Bit over a third. Bit over a third of the pot.
It's very affordable seeming. Boy, it's exactly the kind of size that should get rid of a hand just like Dan has.
It probably should get rid of 9s and 10s also,
Yeah.
which is what it's designed to do, I believe. Not expecting to fold out queens with this sizing.
No, maybe setting up a river shove sometimes. Although Dan's I know it'd be 1.2k left, so he could totally shove the river if he gets called, if he wants to.
I don't know. This isn't going to fold out all of Dan's flush draws on the flop either, which I don't like as much about the sizing. There are some sizings that'll fold out hands like 9-10 of clubs here.
He may think that if Dan has a flush draw. No, I guess Dan would just have to be forced to fold it. Dan is going to move in too often with a flush draw, right? He does let it go.
He lets it go.
Nice play.
Aside from balancing my time extension game here, the double barrel does get through. Dan's put in a pretty tough spot and just has to fold the pocket 5s. So all in all, an okay start to the session here. A little bit of an up and down, probably a little bit in profit after that hand, and get to move on in the session. This video will be broken up into multiple parts, so make sure you check out the next one. But also check the description to join Discord, come talk poker with us, come hang, and come play poker as well. More info coming on that, but I'll see you guys all in the next video.